sad tragedy for this community. A shooting that has not only taken innocent lives, but reminds us all once again, places we once thought were safe are not. Hello, everyone. I'm Doug Proffitt.
And I'm Lisa Hudson. We have team coverage here at 11 on the shooting at that busy Kroger store. 2 shoppers shot and killed, police arresting a man quickly.
WHAS 11's Heather Fontaine is live right now at the Stony Brook Kroger in Jeffersontown, where police just a little while ago reopened the parking lot, and police say this appears to be a random shooting. Heather?
Yes, Doug, it's been 8 hours since those initial shots were fired. Since then, the crime tape has come down and people have returned to pick up their cars. Some cars, though, are still in the parking lot, like this one here. Take a look. You can still see bullet holes going right through the window after these bullets were flying in the parking lot. Jeffersontown Police Department says they will not be releasing any more information tonight, especially on the suspect, but they did release a statement telling us that they were deeply saddened by today's shooting, saying in that statement their hearts are with the victims. Kroger telling us the store here off of Hurstbourne Lane is going to remain closed until Friday morning. Candles, flowers, and a card lay in front of the Kroger grocery store, where 2 shoppers were shot and killed hours earlier. The proof of the violence still sitting in the parking lot. Smashed windows, cars peppered with bullet holes.
There was loud noises and people screaming, running.
We found an empty space and hung out till we knew what was going on.
And they said, he's shooting. So I went to get down on the ground. And about that time, he come around the corner.
Eric Deacon, a former EMT, says he called 911. Moments later, he saw a woman shot in the parking lot.
The way she went down, it wasn't like she wasn't going down to take care. It's like she just dropped.
As soon as the gunfire stopped and police arrived, Deacon says he ran out to try and save her.
And I come out to do CPR on the lady in the parking lot. And when I got down to start CPR, I looked at her and she wasn't breathing. I knew she was gone. I knew there was nothing I could do.
Other witnesses say they saw a shopper, also armed and shooting back at the suspect. Yvette Clemens says it was her friend's husband.
And her husband shot back once the shooter had shot at them. He had pushed her out of the way. And from that, in that moment, that's when the lady got shot and went down.
He was trying to protect people, is kind of what it looked like to me, because he was up front ushering people into the store. Like, get in, take cover.
To be clear, police say it was the suspect's bullets that killed the 2 innocent shoppers, not the armed citizen who tried to stop the man in the parking lot. This car parked near the scene was pulled over by police on the side of the road. That's where police made the arrest, just a few hundred yards away from the Kroger entrance. The victims already being remembered, and a horrifying reminder left behind for the shoppers whose cars were hit by the gunfire. And I've been told through sources tonight that both victims were African American. I also had a man tell me earlier today that his father came face to face with the alleged shooter, who told him he was not going to shoot him because he wasn't going to shoot another white person. I'm told that police are looking into all possibilities for motive tonight, including whether or not this could have been a hate crime. We do not know a lot about the suspect tonight, but in moments we will tell you what we do know. I'm Heather Fontaine reporting from the Kroger on Hurstbourne Lane, WHAS 11 News.
All right, Heather, thank you very much. So much still to learn in this developing story. And Louisville Mayor Greg Fisher responding to the deadly shooting today, saying he is grieving with the families of the victims and saying, quote, "I am heartbroken by this shameful and horrifying incident. I am angry about the tragedy that results from people with guns who have no respect for human life." The mayor went on to say, "I ask everyone in our community to keep them in your prayers and commit to taking action against senseless gun violence." People who shop at that Kroger sent us messages on social media tonight. Melissa saying, "I was going to stop there on my way to work, but I didn't get there." And Becky Edwards writes, "J-Town is one of the safest places in Louisville. Goes to show nowhere is truly safe. Such senseless deaths for those innocent people." Lisa?
And so who is responsible for all of this, and what was his motivation? Those are the questions that police are asking tonight. And with the help of the ATF, the FBI, and LMPD, they hope to get those answers.
Both of those victims have died from fatal injuries and have been pronounced deceased here on the scene.
2 people murdered by a gunman at this Kroger grocery store on Hurstbourne Parkway. A man police say shot one man inside the store, a woman in the parking lot. Steve Zinninger says his father came face to face with that shooter.
My dad did not realize that he was the shooter at first because of the way he was casually walking. He had his gun down by his side with it cocked, and by the time he was up on my dad is already out of the car, had his gun cocked by his leg, and the guy said, please don't shoot, and I won't shoot you.
Police still in the early stages of figuring out what happened, calling his targets random.
The suspect then fled the scene and was apprehended by officers a short time later out on Hurstbourne Parkway.
A WHAS 11 viewer sent us this video, a man in a yellow jacket being arrested just yards away from where those shots rang out. This vehicle, believed to be the shooter's car, on Hurstbourne Parkway, towed away hours later. LMPD, the FBI, and ATF all working with Jeffersontown police to figure out who the suspect is and his motive behind these random attacks.
At this point, we're looking into all factors relating to this shooting. We're investigating and interviewing multiple witnesses, and again, the investigation is ongoing.
We can't be frightened by everything else that goes on in the world. Bad things are going to happen, and good people still have to go on living their lives. That's what we have to do.
This Kroger's another big one in Louisville. Like many in Louisville, you say it just reopened. Was it being renovated?
Yeah, it was renovated just a few months ago, and it's been open now for the last couple of months. And it's very busy all the time. That parking lot is full, and it's 24 hours, so of course there's lots of people coming in and out. And on today in particular, that parking lot was completely full. Many of those cars had nowhere to go because, of course, they were inside the crime scene table.
Like many people, you just go into the store, you're in there for maybe a brief moment, maybe a longer time. You talk to witnesses, and their randomness of just going to this Kroger at the time this happened.
Yeah, just completely random. I talked with one mother. She had her 5-year-old and her 3-month-old with her, and said she heard screams and was hoping that it was someone winning the lottery, is what she really thought. That store is so large, a lot of people didn't even see what was going on, but knew that it was a dangerous situation. They needed to get out of the way. So.
And as police had to go into there too. A lot of aisles and such a big space.
Oh yeah, it took a long time for the police to clear that store entirely. Of course, again, it's still developing. We're still learning more and more details about this, and of course we'll keep you updated on air and on Good Morning Kentuckiana online, WHAS11.com, and on the free WHAS 11 app.